Good morning, my friends. It is going to be a great day in the garden today because it is going to be 75 degrees today. That's weird. It's spring. Should not be 75 degrees, but I'm going to take it. I'm actually going to probably need to take this hoodie off here in a few minutes. It's warm up at the very front of our house. Full sun, you can see. Sun just blast up here. It cooks all day long. But I have owed you guys a update on the lawn, and it is turning out so good. So we planted 3 bulbs up here. I planted squill, some striped squill. I planted some hyacinth, and then I planted something else up here. I don't remember what it was. Anyways, 3 bulbs up here. 2 out of the 3 have bloomed. The squill is already starting to fade. So this was supposed to be 3 different things. So I got kind of a show out of it, a longer show. So squill is on its way out. The hyacinth are coming in, which is exciting. And then I can see the hyacinth, the other bulbs are starting to push their leaves out of the ground. So we are getting a mixture of things coming, which is exciting. And I have tulips blooming. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you guys. So this is gonna be like a mini garden tour. It's gonna be like a bulb tour up front. And then today's plan is to also cut back this window box. And I've got some clematis that I need to wind up. So let's get to it. So front of the house here, and in the lawn, you can definitely see all the white squill has come up. And then it's looking colorful up here, and it's looking like a little soft meadow, which is very exciting. This is exactly what I wanted. I didn't want to have to immediately mow and start having all the perfect lines up here. And same over on this side. All of the squill is starting to come up, and it's just looking so beautiful. The white squill has been amazing, and I keep seeing bees all over it. They're not out right now. I saw 1 bee this morning, but every time I come up here, there's lots of bees all over the lawn, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm like, you know what? If I can make it so my lawn feeds the bees early, how exciting is that gonna be? So the squill looks beautiful, and it's been a nice little pop of white up here. And then the grape hyacinth is also starting to really take off and look really, really good. So it's exciting to see the hyacinth coming up. They're just so cute. I really like them. And I keep seeing bees trying to get inside these little teeny tiny flowers that are on here. So I'm loving the grape hyacinth. And then somewhere in there, there's the 3rd bulb, which I don't remember what I planted. And all of these bulbs I'm hoping start to naturalize. So every year they just continue to spread and I get more and more out of this. I'm just hoping that it just becomes like a beautiful, colorful lawn up here. And I'm thinking next year I want to come in with some fritillaria. I love fritillaria, and I thought that would be pretty because they get kind of tall, but the foliar growth stays low like the rest of these. So I'm hoping that I get these beautiful tall snakehead fritillaria up here next year. They won't naturalize for me, and they typically don't do the best for me, but it's okay. And then up here I planted these beautiful tulips up here, and they're starting to finally pop. They didn't do this yesterday. Yesterday they weren't open, and today they're finally open. So I was kind of waiting for these guys to come up here and so I could show you them. These are the Clearwater, and I love the Clearwater tulips. They are so gorgeous. I love the yellow in the center of them. And then they're white, but they have these very soft, creamy yellow with these slight blue stripes on the petal right here. And they're so magnificent. I love them. Some of them have green on them, but a lot of times they'll get this soft blue color, just fading just the between the yellow and the white here. But I love Clearwater tulips. I think that they're so pretty. Very, very happy with these, and I've got tons more to come. And the lavender is looking good up here. And then we have this extremely sad window box. So this is what we are going to tackle today. This is the bubblegum. We're going to cut this back. I've got alyssum, and we're going to come in and we're going to cut all of this back, give it a nice shear. I'll probably come in and cut the salvia back too. Basically everything is going to get a nice shearing back. So that way during the springtime and summer, it can really just take off and grow, because otherwise it won't grow nicely. And I want it to grow really nicely. So that is the bulb lawn, and I just think it looks so pretty. And it's kind of nice just to see just little pops of color through here. And it looks even better in person. On camera, the flowers look minuscule, but in person it does look really, really nice. So I'm loving spring here. The spring has been so fabulous. There's been lots of things that are blooming and lots of things that are just looking really, really pretty right now. So spring has been a real treat this year because we've had a couple days that have hit 70 and then we'll cool down to like 60 degrees, and it hasn't been overly wet. There's been a lot of rain, but it hasn't been overly wet, which has been really nice. And I think I owe you guys a full garden tour. It just scares me because the full garden right now is tore up, as you guys know. But I think I could give you as little sneak peeks or whatever. I think I do owe you a full garden tour. So if you want to see a full garden tour, let me know, because I haven't done one probably since October of last year or something like that. So it's been a very, very long time since I've done a full one. So if you want to see a full garden tour, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll be brave and film one, and maybe I'll try to get it out this week. If you guys want to see it. If you don't want to see it because the garden is tore up and it's not a beautiful garden right now, that's fine. Please let me know that also. Oh man. Okay, let's get that cut back, and then I'll show you guys the clematis that I want to work on today. It's the Clematis Armandii, and it is good. Well, while that doesn't look better, I guess technically it looks better than it did before, but it does not look good, is what I will say. It was definitely needed though, and you can see that there's lots of new growth coming into the petunias, which is really nice. The alyssum is coming along, the dichondra, the creeping jenny, the salvia. It's all starting to regrow. So the petunias can handle a hard cutback. You can see all of the new growth right here coming, and there's lots of just little like spots where it's just going to continue to grow. So it'll take off. It really needed that haircut. Same thing with the salvia. Everywhere I cut it, it's just going to start branching out and it'll be perfect. So it all needed a cutback. It just, it doesn't look good now. Now we're in the back because I needed to be in the shade. It was too sunny, too hot up there for me. But I've said this a few times. I said this last year multiple times, and I'm gonna repeat it this year. I do not like the smell of petunias. I do not think they smell good. Even when they're in that like infancy stage like that, they smell terrible. They're sticky. They make your hands feel sticky. And for me, I touch a lot of my plants. And so I really prefer plants to be able to feel nice, and I prefer them to smell nice. But the show that I get from petunias is so worth it. So I personally don't like the smell of them. I also don't like the smell of geraniums, and I know some people like the smell of geraniums. The smell of geraniums is repulsive to me, and I think it's just kind of like a personal thing. I don't know, but it's not just like those ones up there, the supertunia vista bubblegums. It's not just those. It is all petunias I do not like the smell of. I will say calibrachoas and pachoas have way less of a smell, and so calibrachoas, they look a lot like petunias, but they're a little more finicky to grow. And then the pachoas are a cross between petunias and the calibrachoas. And pachoas were nice because they did grow really well and they had a lot of color. But what I would see would happen would there would be a big flush of blooms and then they would die back a little bit. And then there'd be a big flush of blooms and then they would die back a little bit. So it would come in these like giant like burst of blooms, which was, it was really cool because they did put out a lot of color and they didn't have the smell or the stink to them. And they weren't as finicky as calibrachoas were. So Pachoas were nice. You can get them from, I think a lot of companies grow pachoas. They're grown by Ball, which is really, really nice. And then they're also, you can find them at like Monrovia, they grow them, and a bunch of other brands grow pachoas. But I will always grow petunias because of the fact that they just do not stop. The smell is just not my favorite. Now we're gonna move on to this clematis. Look at this thing. It's so glorious. Let me show you guys the flowers. This is Clematis Armandii, and look at how gorgeous this thing is. So this is growing zones 7 through 9. You could probably get away with it in zone 10. It does need some protection in the afternoon sun. This one here gets probably a little bit too much sun. It does get afternoon sun. And so it'd be fine if it got full morning sun, and then maybe like a little bit of like midday sun, but really that hot afternoon sun, it wants a little bit of protection from that. I planted it in the wrong spot, but it's doing good. It just gets a little bit of burn on it. And last year we had some really, really hot days. So this year I'm gonna protect it a little bit more if we hit 112, just so that way it stays nice and safe. But beautiful evergreen clematis, so you have winter interest with this thing. And it's nice because look at, you can still see the trellis. The lower half of this is a little more sparse, and then it gets really thick towards the top, which is exactly what I wanted for this. It blooms on its new growth, and it's a gorgeous, stunning clematis. You could cut it back probably to more than half if you needed to, if you wanted blooms down low, but it grows quick. It grows very, very fast. It'll quickly reach 25 feet tall, and it's just a vining thing, so it can be trained as wide as you want it to go. I got it trained up this trellis, and I think this is like a 9-10 foot tall trellis right here, and it quickly reached that. And then I've got some wire that's strung up with our patio lights that I've got it running across. And you guys, it is quickly filled up. And so today we're going to be winding, because you can see it's starting to hang down in the walkway. So we're going to wind it up, and I want to show you guys the flowers, because if you have space for this clematis, grow this clematis. It's evergreen. The blooms that come off this thing are psychotic. It literally, the perfume, it's almost to the point where it's overwhelming because it's so intense. You come through our side gate and it hits you, and it hits you hard, but it is such a beautiful and pleasant smell. It's so nice. There's nothing else like it. So Clematis Armandii, this is the snowdrift. Don't pay more than like 20 bucks for this clematis. You should be able to find them, no issue. I've seen some online retailers selling them for like $100. You're being taken advantage of. No more than like 20, 25 bucks, okay? Let's get to planting. No, let's get to winding. It's already planted. Broke the whole thing. So heavy. Yeah. So we'll play Where's Brent in this video. I was trying to tighten the wires because we had ran the wire straight across, and when we did these lights, we were out of the 3-strand braided wire. All we had was the single strand wire, which I do not recommend. I've even said, I think in the video when we ran these lights, was like, do not recommend using the single strand. Highly recommend the 3-strand. We could not find the 3-strand anywhere. So we used what we could find, which was the single strand, and it sags, it's weak, and then when you go to tighten it, it snaps. So now Brent's gonna try to rerun the wire, and I'm going to watch. So he's gonna do that for me, and then I will finish tying up the clematis. I was just trying to make it so, like, see how it like sags a little bit? It used to be like really straight across, but now there's so much weight from the clematis, and so I was trying to like lift it up and tighten it, and then I just tightened it too much and it just snapped. So we'll fix that right now. All right, we got the clematis all wound up. You can actually walk under it without getting hit in the face by a branch. But the blooms, you guys, on this thing are so spectacular. So definitely plant this somewhere where it's near a walkway, somewhere that you can see the blooms. These blooms right now, they're kind of hard to see because they're high up like this. But if it was growing on a wall, or even if it was growing like along a fence, that would be just stunning. So definitely add this to your garden if you're in zones 7 through probably 9, maybe 10, getting away with it. But I love, love, love Clematis Armandii. This is the snowdrift one, and it's so fabulous. And so Brent got the wire rewound. You can see the wire right there. And then I went ahead and wound all the clematis pieces up. And then I took some of the ones that were over here and I kind of wound them down. And my plan is to wind them down a little bit and then back up because it's really sparse here. And I wouldn't mind covering up a little bit more of the trellis so it doesn't just look so naked. So I'm gonna wind one branch down and then back up. And then I did come over here and I wound another piece of wire from over this side all the way over to that hook there, and I'm gonna grow it so it grows across here. That way it kind of like covers the window a little bit, maybe looks a little more like magical. And then Brent's gonna build me the matching window box at some point in the next couple weeks, and then I'll get the clematis to grow across the lights on this side also. I really want this to just kind of feel like a little bit of a tunnel when you walk through here. So, I mean, look at how magical that is. I love that. So if I can get all 4 of these strands covered with that, it'll just kind of feel like a little bit of a cave coming in here, which will be really, really nice. So now I have one more little project I want to do. I've got to cut a branch off the willow tree, and it's a big branch on the willow tree. The willow needs a little bit of help. So we're going to go cut that off. It's one, I messed up when training it, and I trained it, and the branch went straight out. So now it comes, instead of coming up and then weeping, it comes like, here's the trunk, and then it comes straight out of it. And that's really not what you want for the willow trees. You want things to come up and then arch down gracefully. So I'm gonna take you guys back there and show you. It's a big branch, but it'll be fine. It could honestly, it could use a little bit of a pruning. So let's go back there and we'll cut that branch off. You see what I'm talking about? So under the willow tree, there's this one branch that goes dink. I don't know. What they should be doing is they should be coming up like this, but this is just gonna be a weak spot in this tree, having a branch that comes out like this. So we are gonna cut that branch out, and we're gonna cut that branch out. I usually come in and I cut anything that points down. Cut all of those out. They're not good for the tree, so that's gotta go. So we're just gonna cut those 2. And what I'm gonna start off by doing is I'm gonna cut the underneath of the branch. I'll cut up a little bit and then I will cut straight down. If I just cut from the top down, it would end up shredding and it would pull the bark off the tree, which is not what you want. And I'm gonna leave just a little bit of a nub so that way the branch can just grow over it. But yeah, that's gotta go. It's just growing straight over to the shed. So unfortunately it's a big branch, but it does need to go. And then this sure. And then this is what I'm going to be using. These are the Felco 600s. It's just a like foldable saw blade. I had one that we got years ago, and it was like a $4 or $5 one, and it was magical. And then I invested in the Felco 600, and this thing is fabulous. So this is what I'm going to use. It's very sharp, and it makes cutting through tree branches very, very quick. There we go. It actually feels like you can breathe. I do try to constantly lift up the canopy as needed. So any branches that point down or anything that's just not right needs to get cut out. I really want this willow tree so you can walk underneath it, and having that branch that was just pointing directly down, it wasn't it. So happy that that's gone, and the willow tree is starting to flower. So this thing is going to be full of pollinators here very, very soon. If you didn't know, willow trees do have little flowers. These are their cat kittens, and the bees usually go absolutely crazy for them. So my friends, I think that is going to be it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. We got the micro garden tour done up front. We got the window box cleaned up, the Clematis Armandii restrung and the new wire laid. And then we got the willow tree pruned up that needed to happen. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. We're gonna go hang out in the garden and then just enjoy this beautiful day. And I hope that the weather is starting to become nice for you guys. So thank you guys for visiting our garden, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.